Hey, what's going on, guys? I hope you all are doing well today. Doing great myself. Elliot here. Welcome back to The Fragrance Well. So guys, if you're like me and you get up to a point in your collecting where you're pretty much past the point where you can ever wear all of your fragrances, it's inevitable. You're gonna run into the problem of you're gonna have some fragrances that you just don't reach for anymore for a variety of reasons. So that's today's video topic. I'm gonna be talking about fragrances in my collection that I frankly need to wear more. Now, in my opinion, when you get to the point where you've got so many fragrances that it's impossible to wear all of them, you pretty much got two options. One is either get rid of the fragrance or just plan to wear it again in the future. We're gonna go with the latter for today's video. So I've got 8 fragrances that are fragrances I simply just need to wear more because I just haven't worn them in a while for a number of reasons. I'll kind of go over why that is with each individual fragrance. Before we get started, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you do like the content, and remember to hit that bell icon so you can be notified when I upload new videos. All right, let's get into it. All right, guys, so for the first fragrance, I'm taking my own advice because it is actually my scent of the day. From the house of Salvatore Ferragmo, this is gonna be Uomo Casual Life. Salvatore Ferragmo's Uomo Casual Life. So this fragrance here, let me just go ahead and spray it on the strip. I can't smell it on myself. I'm gonna spray it on the strip anyway. Yeah, so this fragrance here is one of the, let's just call it warm weather flankers from the Uomo line from Salvatore Ferragmo from their previous focus on fragrances where they were a little bit more gourmand, kind of coffee centered. This one does keep that coffee theme, but it's more of an iced coffee theme, giving it kind of a coolness to it. It's a little bit ozonic as well, so it has that kind of going for it where it's a better for warmer weather, but it's not like citrus heavy per se, so it is a little bit different in that regard. So that's why I really find this fragrance to be interesting. It is one I actually really enjoy. I just haven't reached for it in a while. I already know the primary reason I haven't reached for it is, number one, I've gotten in a lot of newer stuff that I just need to give priority because I need to, actually wear the fragrances so I can understand them for myself as well as talk about them here on the channel. And the other thing is this has a strong, well, not a strong similarity. It has a similarity to Xerjoff's Oud Overdose. Kind of smells a little bit like the dry down of that fragrance. That fragrance also has coffee accords in it, so it kind of shares that as well as having kind of a rich but cooling floral essence to it. Naturally, the Xerjoff fragrance is gonna do it a lot better and a lot higher quality. It's also a lot more interesting. So if I want that scent profile, I'm gonna go for that one, just to be honest. So that's part of the reason why this doesn't get as much wear, but it's still a good fragrance. So it's one I need to wear more often. Uomo Casual Life from Salvatore Ferragmo. All right, moving on. From the house of Hugo Boss, we've got the Scent Absolute. Hugo Boss's The Scent Absolute. Now, this is not a fragrance that I've had for that long, but have had it for a while, and I've only worn it like maybe 1 or 2 times since then. I do enjoy this. However, the scent is a little bit kind of towing that line of being a little bit juvenile for me, which is not something I necessarily go for a lot. So that is probably the primary reason I haven't gone for this, but I really do enjoy how this smells. Has that manica fruit. Overall, it kind of smells like light strawberry like fruits, maybe dusted with some like cocoa powder. That's kind of the vibe I get from this fragrance. So gourmand light, but not like fully. Functionally, I don't think the fragrance is kind of tied down too much to one thing. Could be a nice date night scent, could be a nice night out scent. The fragrance is very good, like I said before, but it's not a wowing fragrance to me. But that being said, it is one that I do want to keep because I do feel like I can get more wears out of it. So it makes the cut in terms of not getting removed from the collection. So once again, this is Hugo Boss's The Scent Absolute. Okay guys, so the next one is coming from the house of Maison Francis Kurkdjian. We've got Oud Satin Mood Extrait. Oud Satin Mood Extrait. Now, this one might be kind of interesting. This is a very popular fragrance and I do really enjoy the way it smells. I really love this scent. I think it's a great rose and oud fragrance, but if I'm being completely honest, I've come across some rose ouds that I like better than this one, mainly because this one is very rose forward versus the oud. The balance is kind of leaning more towards the rose. I found some where the oud is a little bit more balanced in there. Another thing about this fragrance it is very specific in what I would use it for. I wouldn't really wear this one that casually. That's just my preference. And also at the times I would wear it, it's probably something that my wife actually wants to wear that day or would wear, or maybe just doesn't want to smell on me. So that kind of limits my usage of when I actually would go for this fragrance. With all that being said, there are definitely times when I could have gone with this fragrance as a choice and I just simply didn't. So me kind of looking over some of my stuff in my cabinet, it's one I just simply need to wear more often. So once again, this is Maison Francis Kurkdjian's Oud Satin Mood, the Extrait. So the next one's gonna be coming from the house of Lalique, and this is Encre Noire à l'Extrême. Lalique's Encre Noire à l'Extrême. Now this one here, I'm actually just kind of ashamed. I have no excuse as to why I have not worn this more. I love the way it smells. I think it's great. It has that grassy, almost muddy vetiver, but it's kind of livened up a bit, if you will, with like some resinous style sweetness. They added a lot of benzo into this. They added patchouli to it compared to the other one, and it's almost like a nighttime, a little bit sweeter version of that deep, muddy, grassy vetiver known from the Encre Noire line. And for whatever reason, I just simply have not reached for it. I think I maybe have given this a full wear just once, and frankly that's unacceptable because this fragrance is not going anywhere. It's staying in my collection. I think it is a very good fragrance, and frankly it's just simply one I need to wear more. There's really no other explanation for it. Once again, from the house of Lalique, Encre Noire à l'Extrême. This will probably get some wear when it cools down a little bit. Alright, so the next one's coming from the house of Guerlain. We have L'Instant de Guerlain, the Eau de Parfum concentration. Guerlain's L'Instant de Guerlain. Yeah, I can't talk today. So this one here, this is also one that hasn't been in my collection for that long, to be fair. But as much as I like the scent, let's just say if I didn't have a lot of other stuff, I probably would have worn this more by now. So you could almost say this is me just reminding myself to wear it once it cools down a little bit, because I haven't really wanted to go for it because of how hot it's been. So this one is a spicy, kind of chocolatey, almost tea-like fragrance. Kind of puts me in the mindset of like a chai tea, a very spicy tea, but also has chocolatey accords, very nice patchouli in this as well. Kind of opens up a little bit strong on the spice and the lemon combination, where it can almost smell a little bit funky, but that smooths out pretty quick. I think this is a great composition from this house. I'd wear it in a variety of situations. I think it shines best as kind of a night out fragrance, giving you kind of a classy, elegant feel, very much in the style of what you might expect from a good Guerlain fragrance. And so it's just a reminder for myself, hey, definitely wear this a little bit more once it cools down a little bit later on this year. So once again, this is Guerlain, L'Instant de Guerlain, Eau de Parfum. All right, so next up from the house of Prada, we have L'Homme Intense. Prada L'Homme Intense. So this one here is discontinued in the States, but you can still somewhat find it. It does pop up every now and then, so it's not impossible to get. Now this fragrance here is one I've had for quite a while, and I used to wear it a lot actually. This one is pretty much fallen victim to, I've gotten a lot of new stuff since I've gotten this, so I've had to give those other things a wear. But I still really love this fragrance, and plus this is the jumbo size bottle. I'm not gonna go through the whole bottle, so I'm not saving it just because it's discontinued. It's just one I haven't worn in a while and I need to give it some wear. This is obviously an Irish fragrance. That's what the Prada L'Homme line is, but this one is sweetened up quite a bit. Still retains that heavy powderiness, but you got a lot of tonka bean in here to sweeten it up, make it kind of a nighttime style fragrance. Has some leathery undertones to it as well. I think the fragrance is amazing. It's a shame that it is no longer available in the States. I do not agree with that decision, but ultimately it's not up to me. If people aren't buying it, they're not gonna sell it. Even though it does kind of fall into that date night category in terms of a scent profile, I actually used to wear this to work all the time. That was pretty much the primary place where I wore it. So it still would be a great work option for me personally. So yeah, I just need to wear it because I haven't worn it in a while. So this is Prada L'Homme Intense. All right, so we got another one from the house of Hugo Boss. This fragrance is actually fully discontinued, and it's Boss Bottled Intense. Boss Bottled Intense. Now similar to Prada L'Homme Intense, I'm not saving it just because it's discontinued. Again, this is a 100 ml bottle. I'm not gonna go through the whole thing with all the fragrances I have. This one is pretty much gonna give you that apple cinnamon style of fragrance, and that's pretty much the basis of it. You could pick up some other accords in here, maybe some woods and stuff like that, but that's pretty much what this is presenting. Now, I do very much enjoy this fragrance. I don't really have an excuse for this one either. I just simply haven't gone for it. Maybe it's just because I haven't been in a mood for smelling like apple and cinnamon. I do enjoy that type of scent profile, but I'll admit it's not necessarily my favorite thing. There's definitely other things I would grab way ahead of this one, which is probably why I haven't worn it that much. Here's what I can say though, out of all the Boss bottled fragrances I have smelled, and I haven't smelled all of them, but I've smelled a good variety of them, I still think this one is by far the best, and it still blows my mind that they discontinued this. The only thing I can think of is people just simply weren't buying it, or there was some kind of ingredient ban where they just could not reformulate this in a way that they were okay with selling. I think that's hardly the case, but it is a possibility, so I'm thinking maybe that's just why it was discontinued. Either sales or they just couldn't replicate it. Who knows? You know, these companies have their reasons, good or bad, for discontinuing stuff, but I'm definitely gonna keep it in my collection, and I need to give it some more wear. I'm not gonna go through the whole bottle. Once again, this is Hugo Boss's Boss Bottled Intense. All right, and last but not least, from the house of Givenchy, we've got Gentleman Eau de Parfum. Givenchy's Gentleman Eau de Parfum. Now this is another one that you could almost say it's such a situational fragrance in terms of where it is the most useful, where it's kind of like a formal event, a very nice night out. That's probably the main reason I just don't reach for this fragrance that much. Very much done in that Dior Homme Intense and Dior Homme style of fragrances. You know, a lot of houses kind of did their own take on that. I do especially enjoy this one. Rich, creamy, kind of fresh iris, but mixed with a lot of vanilla. I think the fragrance is stunning. I still think it is the best gentleman fragrance. If I'm not mistaken, the last time I wore this, I wore it out to dinner when my family was in town. I intentionally picked this one because I said, hey, I haven't worn this much, I need to give it a wear. So similarly, I haven't worn it since because of that. And again, this is a fragrance that is definitely going to be in my collection. I think this is definitely one of the better designer releases of the last decade, if you will. So it's gonna be in my collection, and again, the best one in the Gentleman line, which is a line I truly do enjoy. Kind of similar to Dior Homme Intense, I just need to find reasons to wear it regardless if it is the ideal date night situation or formal occasion situation. Wear it in spite of that. That's just the main reason I need to kind of find reasons to wear this more. So once again, this is Givenchy's Gentleman Eau de Parfum. Alright guys, that was the list. That was 8 fragrances that I need to wear more out of my fragrance cabinet. And let this be a reminder to you to wear your fragrances. If you're not gonna wear it, unless it's just something that is just that amazing to you, which you know you would consider yourself a collector, so you want to keep it, then get rid of it. It's just taking up space, and don't buy fragrances you're not gonna wear. Let me know down in the comments below a fragrance that you haven't reached for in a while, but it is one you still want to keep in your collection and you need to give it a wear sometime in the future. Thanks for watching all the way until the end. Remember to be well and smell well, and I will see you in the next episode of The Fragrance Well. Have a good one.